Hey everybody, it's time for Syntax Live. How's everybody doing tonight? I hope you're doing well. I'm doing okay. You know what they say? Any day above ground is a good day. You still breathing? You're still good. Don't let anybody ever say different. So, I guess since it's the 14th of February, I guess happy St. Valentine's Day for those of you watching. And for some reason, my phone just went off. So happy Valentine's Day for those. Well, what am I saying? If you're watching this, you're not celebrating Valentine's Day. You're listening to some old grunt talk. Anyways, so on that note, crack open the top and let's get into tonight's subjects. I don't have a whole lot, so we'll see how long this one lasts. So the main, well, I'll get to the main portion, but I want to touch on a few of these. I hope you guys like the movie references. If you guys get them, then TV references and other science fiction, by all means, put them in the comment section during the video. Any comment helps, even if you're like, oh, I like the such and such reference, something really quick. It does help me out. I appreciate every single one of you. Don't ever let anybody tell you different. All right. Why did I put that one down? Okay. I wanted to go over one thing that came up in the comments section where there was actually a pretty big debate. And for those of you who actually deal in more technological areas, you already know this because I had a few tech folks actually come in. And I was talking about getting terabytes of data every single minute. Now, maybe I should have put it out even higher. A lot of people are saying you can't get terabytes a minute. Actually, you can. If you remember, there's over 20,000 personnel that they're watching, which means is even half of those cameras are going. That's 10,000 cameras of high definition plus audio pumping video into one hard drive at a time. That's a lot of information. And you know, those Intel guys, they love it when they have more information. Oh, they salivate. I've dealt with those guys before. They just love it. So let's see. All right. Yeah, I just want to say that there is going to be an expansion tonight. There is another video coming out on midnight Eastern Standard Time. Just like always, I kind of had to knock my head into a wall to get it to work, but it's coming out. Hopefully you guys aren't sitting there, chomping at the bit. I want more. Oh, wait. I love it when you guys do that. Haha. All right. Also, I want to welcome new subscribers. Hey, everybody. If you're a new subscriber and you're listening, hey, how you doing? I hope you enjoy. If you have any comments, questions, critiques, whatever it might be, into the comment section of any video, and I do look at them. I'll read them at least once or twice a day because you guys are what make this channel possible. Without you, I'm just some guy talking in a big black hanging mic. It's a big mic. Anyways, yeah, those of you who know that joke, you know where I'm going with it. Anyways, yeah, that also went over. I actually have the jokes. Hopefully the juvenile names aren't putting you guys off, but apparently a few people like the names of the House of Dingus. So even when I came up with that, I actually had to stop writing. I actually threw my pen against the wall. I was like, that's going to be hilarious. The problem is it's kind of hard to actually write it when you're laughing too hard to actually put it down because I actually write in cursive. So, yeah, which is why nobody can steal my stuff. Anybody who's not, or anybody who's a millennial can't read it. So I'm safe. There's my security protocols. Those of us that are older, we know exactly how that works. We're going to get old and people are going to think, is that a new language written on the bathroom wall? No, it's cursive, you morons. So the kicker, the reason why that joke actually went in, because I needed something to show the limits of professionalism. And it just, I hope it came out well. I know one person said he actually had to spit his coffee out and had to stop and wipe it down. Another person back in the day when I was saying there's another snake, the House of Chode, and apparently they got a big kick out of that one too, because that was the first time I used that one. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to keep these references going because it seems to go over well. You guys seem to like it. If you think it's too much, again, comments, I read them. I want you guys to let me know how I can do better. If you just like it the way it is, just give that video a like when you're done and we'll move on to the next one. All right. I have to bring this up. You guys are already talking about it. That last episode that dropped, and they're like, it's a damn shame. It's a damn shame. Well, when it came to the explanation, when Doc and Cookie and all those other folks are trying to explain what the hell was going on, the reason why it seemed kind of scattered is because that's how an actual debriefing goes. It's almost never actually structured unless they're sitting there reading off a prepared file. It just doesn't work that way. So if you're actually writing a story and you're out there and you're making sure that it's more human, we'll just say, more alive, just remember that flaws happen. Flaws are required in each character. If you have a Gary Stu or a Mary Sue or whatever, you're going to lose people because seriously, if we want that, we'll go watch Star Trek STD or whatever. So yeah, people are kind of, they don't care for that. So, but that was the reason why it was jumbled. Again, those of you who want to humanize your characters, let's go that. Okay, now I'm saying the same thing twice. All right, now on to the main topic of what I have. And unfortunately, I've got very little is in notes because I get most of my notes off the comment section. If you guys have any issues in the comment section, I bring this up. If I'm not understanding it, then that's why I want you guys to come in the chat and let me know what's what. Now, a lot of people are talking about kinetics and the amount of power output they put in. Understand that what they're saying when it comes to power does not mean explosive power. It means penetrative power. Kinetics equals mc squared. Energy equals mass times the speed of light squared. It's the same thing as when you're in an atmosphere. If you have a very slow bullet, it's going to catch more on the inside of the body and create more of a temporary cavity as everything expands because, well, let's face it, we're all gooey on the inside. But if it's going so fast, by the time that temporary cavity even begins, whatever's creating that temporary cavity is going to go out. And it's the same thing when it comes to especially main gun rounds in space. Understand that it's going to be that way. You're talking about the ability to penetrate. And I can't believe I just said that on Valentine's Day. So when they actually say how many kilotons of power that's in, that's how much force is on the tip of that projectile as it's going through the armor. And the more it has behind it, obviously, the more it's going to push further, because even though you're stopping the beginning, it's just going to squish against there and round off a little bit. But the rest of it, the kinetic force is still pushing. And that's the same thing. Anybody out there who uses a spear gun, it's the exact same thing. The only difference is instead of a really dense medium, you have a very thin one. It's just the way it is. But that's the way kinetics in space are. Now, if you have something that is meant to penetrate and then explode, that's a whole nother bag of worms. Internal ammo explosion and rapid depressurizations, those are massive things when it comes to space combat. So if you're writing your stories, especially those you prospective writers, and side note, little frago here, and by the way, that means fragmentation order. It doesn't mean anything else. If you have a short story you want me to read in my now I didn't really put much in the description this time because I was in a rush. I was helping a buddy all day, well, most of the day. So, but in the bottom of most of my videos, you will find an email address. If you want me to look over a story and read it on this channel, I will do so. No, I'm not going to ask for money. I simply ask that it match the tone of the channel, i.e., it has to be a good story. It has to be consistent as best as possible. And for the love of God, it has to go by the YouTube guidelines. Okay, why do you think I have to talk around all the BS? Susan, she's got a bug shoved so far up her. Never mind. I'll get in trouble for continuing that. So one sec. Yeah, good old birch beer. It ain't water, I'll tell you that. If you haven't had birch beer, I suggest you have some. Now, I did last week. We talked about the difference between missiles and torpedoes. So I'm not going to go into any of that craziness. What I am going to talk about is the fact that you also have to deal with time. Time is a big thing. Time means effective ranges. Pure and simple. When you fire a torpedo and it takes 20 minutes to travel from point A to point B, you got that long for the tracking system to find it. Okay, stealth or not, it's still going to take a little bit of time from point A to point B. It's just the way it is. Now, don't get that confused with time on target. Time on target is a naval term, which means all your weapons are going to strike at the same time and you have to stagger your shots. That's just the way that is, which is why the majority of mine, when it comes to naval combat, and it's in a slug match, as in two fleets basically trying to go muzzle to muzzle with each other, you got to remember, if you can time on target that, you can get that massive destructive first hit, and never, ever, ever underestimate that. Whoever hits first usually wins, especially in naval warfare. Is it always the case? No. Is it usually the case? Yes. Okay. Reason because you have caused serious damage and you may or may not have hit a critical system. If you have, that person may not be able to maneuver, which means they're going to make it an easy target. And then once they're so slow, you can penetrate them so much they look like a brick of Swiss cheese. And I can't believe I actually had to use penetrate one more time. God dang, it is friggin' Valentine's Day. And if you didn't get the reference, by the way, in one of those, I did use that in, I believe it wasn't the one that's damn shame. It was the one prior to that where the rounds actually penetrated and exploded inside. Yeah, I guess that one, I didn't do it very well because nobody said anything. So that one went right over. Or I should say that way. It went, there's the window. So it went out that way. Now, again, as far as the actual space combat goes, energy weapons don't fall under the same premise. However, if you are more than light seconds away, you still have time to move. However, if you're writing your story, for the love of God, Google how fast it's going to be. So if you're actually talking ranges, don't just say they're a long distance. Actually say they're so many thousands of kilometers away. Because a lot of people that read these stories or listen to them, they know their stuff. Okay. I do get some critiques and people say, hey, that doesn't work. Hey, this works. I'm glad you said this. I don't know why you said that. I'm all about making my stuff better on that. And I've actually had to stop one of my recordings like midway. I'm like, oh, you idiot. I can't believe you missed that. So I had to actually go and rewrite a whole section. Thankfully, it didn't take away from the story itself, but I had to redo the whole thing. Now, understand when it comes to kinetics and dropping, as far as dropping people in pods, it's not as messed up as you would think. The actual, as long as you slow them down in sequence, which actually they did in Halo when they said, mind the bump. Yeah, that was what they were, the initial slowdown is pretty much going to compress your spine. However, if you go consistently down, slowing it down, it's not as bad. Actually, your biggest problem on that is heat. So if you're talking about a drop, hell, even bringing shuttles down, you got to deal with the heat. It's just a part of it. If you're going to be working with hard science in your science fiction, keep that in mind because heat is a real bitch in space. Oh, what the hell was that? Excuse me, folks. Excuse me. Oh, that just came out of nowhere. Must have been that venison roast I had. So that is literally the end of my notes because people didn't put in their critiques or comments. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to scroll to the top here. I'm going to go through and see how everybody's doing. I see there's a Fabian here. There's a War Gamer. There's a Demon. There's a Dustin. There's a Sniper. Sniper. Where? Okay. I see all the usual faces here. And someone even raging out down there talking about different life forms. All right, at the top, see, Wargamer says, it's a damn shame that the Great High Grand Leader, yeah, there's a reason why it's Great High Grand Leader. The guy's like, oh, I'm so grandiose. Can't see that the humans are a great ally to have. Yeah, don't worry. There's a little bit of explanation that's might not come in the next episode, but believe me, there's going to be some funky stuff when it comes to that. Oh, there's Demon. It's a damn shame. Yeah, you'd be surprised how close I had to get to this microphone, because if I said that and I cranked up my audio settings, yeah, it would have been. Oh, wait, hold on. Whoa. Oh shit. Juan's here. Oh shit. Oh fuck. Change of topic. Okay, I'll change the topic. I was listening to Be Careful When Dealing with the Humans before coming out here. Will you continue that one in the near future? When I'm done with this series, Juan, I will be going over everything. If it has enough views, I will continue it. All right. I've been trying to finish up this series. The problem is there's no easy way to tie it in a nice little bow and move on to the next one. There's just too many factors going on. I mentioned this, I think 2 weeks ago. This story was meant to be a one-off, and it just took on a life of its own. I didn't realize what type of friggin' pit I was stepping my toes into, and it seems almost bottomless. But now I can actually see the end. So probably going to be another one. But I'm going to write down, be careful when dealing with the humans. When dealing humans. Okay. I'm going to put there a big old continue on that one. That was actually supposed to be continued. That wasn't meant to stop. I don't know. Did you get both parts there, Juan? Because if I remember correctly, there's two. Thing is, I've done so many stories. Sometimes I get confused which ones, especially when I do a lot of one-offs. So, but yes, that if I remember correctly, that was supposed to be that way. I did catch a lot of flack on that when they said, "Oh, somebody's royal guard is not going to act like that." Maybe a human royal guard isn't going to act like that, but you don't know what the other one's going to act like. So, again, you have to, whenever anybody's creating their own, you have to fall in on every tiny little aspect. You have to get every tiny little bit right, and you have to keep consistency. For the love of God, keep consistency. Because if you don't, I don't know what to tell you, because you might as well just be watching Family Guy, where one time he gets his brains blown out, and the next time you see him, he's walking around saying again. I'm like, yeah, it does. Where's the consistency? As far as the near future goes, now I have it written down. It's right here. If you couldn't figure that out, it's in cursive, so don't worry. But I cannot guarantee near future. I can put in to continue it. I haven't checked the view count on it in a long time. So again, when I'm done, I got to reevaluate, and we're going to go. So let me get back up here. And by the way, thank you so much for the super chat, Juan. I very much appreciate it, and I appreciate everybody watching. Okay, where are we? Okay. Still, it's a damn shame. Dustin, I am doing okay. Am I breathing? Yep. Am I alive? No, I'm fucked. Okay. And War Sniper says, should have had him as allies instead of slaves. Yeah. You would think that, but again, different cultures. It's like I say, you go try to get along with everybody. How do you get along with someone who has the only interest is to kill you? You know, it is what it is. No, Demon, you're not late. You're right on time. Let's see. Dustin says, when are the snakes going to learn that it's better to be friends with humans? Bonehard ass snakes. Okay. Well, so many bad jokes going through my head on that one right now, Dustin. I can't focus on one of them. It actually physically hurts me. So, War Sniper saying hi. Dustin D says, Columba versus Borg, who is worst? Well, that depends on your aspect of it, because if you're looking at sheer meanness, then it's the Columba are just mean because they do things out of just enjoyment. It's like, well, out of that, who's worse, the Jedi or the Sith? Because one of them, if you disagree with them, they slice you in half with a laser sword and don't even think twice about it. And the other ones, if you disobey them, they cut you in half with a laser sword and they laugh a little bit. So, which one's worse? You know, it's that one. It really is perspective on that, Dustin. There's only that's all you got. That's up to everybody. Let's see. Juan says, I'm on a freaking mountain. I'm amazed you can actually put that in. You can curse on here, Juan, without Susan coming in and demonetizing me. In the middle of Mexico, hardly can get any internet out here. I'll have many episodes to catch up on when I get back. Oh, hey, there you go. You know, binge watch the series. Just fair warning, some of the early stuff, I had some audio quality issues. One of my pieces of equipment the fan wouldn't shut off, and I didn't think this thing picked it up because when I reviewed it, it didn't show up. I'm like, what the? And everyone still complains about it. I was like, well, I would redo the entire story. Unfortunately, back then I used to chuck my notes as soon as I was done. Silly me. So yeah, I'd have to rewrite the whole thing. All right, so greeting life forms from Rage. Yep. Dustin, Boo Man really didn't like it to be caged. Okay. Let's see. Dustin also says even lasers and phasers and Laster also used E equals MC square power force versus watts out input. Yeah. Well, you got to remember a lot of those are actually the photonic laser is much closer to a particle laser. Now, I'm not a laser expert, so don't butcher me. If you have more on that, again, comments or put it in the chat box, and I will go over that. If you're going to be talking about different lasers, you need to specify what they are based on. Are they light? Are they heat? Are they particle? What are they? So each one is going to be very different. Now, light lasers usually can't do jack. Heat lasers do exactly what it sounds like. They condense heat and they can slice through metal within a few seconds. Particle lasers actually send a stream of focused particles out and are used to actually cut. That's the majority of what you see on like Babylon 5 when they're slicing through stuff. That's a particle laser. So let's see. Rage says Isaac Newton is the baddest motherfucker in space. I don't think he got to space, did he? Last I heard, he was sitting under a tree with a headache. Let's see. I was expecting that War Sniper says I was expecting that the Great High Grand Leader was most clear-minded of the leadership, but nope. I can't ruin it, guys. I won't ruin it, but we'll just say that if you listen close, there are certain hints in there that just tell you something was off. So Dustin says, like Starfleet phaser cannon on Galaxy D refit of all good things. Now, I'm not a Trekkie fan, really. So some of these things will literally fly past me at warp 20 or whatever their max speed is. I stopped watching those when I was a kid. I grew up with Next Generation back when the story was more important than the science fiction. So it is what it is. Fabian says, how's your maple syrup coming along, Mr. My dad's Mr. Anyway, the syrup right now is not flowing. It's too cold. Everything froze. Right now I only got maybe 2 gallons, maybe. And I stress that. More like 1 3/4, which is a decent amount for just one person, but it's more than just me. I make enough for, I got me, I got my dad, I got 3 siblings. Along with that, I got at least 3 nieces or 5 nieces and nephews, 3 little girls, 2 little boys, yada yada yada. And yes, they did play into my psyche when I did the whole naming the kids as far as the story goes, but you guys will get that later. So, but yeah, the maple syrup's not doing so bad. I actually got a new pan. My brother made one. And unfortunately, he gave it to us because he didn't realize that sucker boils off so fast that his wife went to use it. She thought she could walk away for half an hour, and it burned everything down to nothing. She just didn't understand the timing of it. These are things if anybody out there plans on making maple syrup, for the love of all that is holy, please listen to people that have done it and follow their advice. Don't think you know better, please, because you're going to end up getting so pissed that you've done all that work and then you're going to cook it away to vapor, and it's not cool. I've done it. It's a real kick in the nuts. Okay. Dustin D says time on target. I think he hit the wrong button. Time on target solution. I captain. Let's see. War Sniper. How's your Valentine's Day going? I'm talking to you guys. That's how my Valentine's Day going. It's snowing like a son of a bitch out here, and we got maybe a foot, maybe about 14 inches on the ground. So much that I wish I had a snowmobile. But we got the ATV and I think fishtails like a SOB, just all over the place. I went to check the buckets, and don't get me wrong, it's fun to play in the snow, people. It's always fun to go play in the snow. I suggest everybody go play in the snow, which is actually why I wrote that story back with it was actually a reptilian species thought they were gonna, salvage this ship because it's negative 20 degrees centigrade. Oh my God, nothing lives around here. Nothing on their planet lives around here. The humans are doing fine because that's only, what is that, about 8 degrees Fahrenheit or something? It's survive. It's not comfortable, but it's survivable by all means. I know because I've done it. But in any case, that was kind of the point of that story there. In any case, anybody here in the Northeast just got friggin' schwacked with snow, and there's more coming. Why couldn't we get this around Christmas? That's all I can say about that. Kale says, hey, everybody. Hi there, Kale. Let's see. Dustin D. What do you think of pinpoint focused targeting? Like when Star Trek First Contact Captain Jean-Luc Picard ordered the fleet to target a certain target, which data question was not a critical system. Pinpoint targeting is something military does all the time. They actually stole that from those guys. And by the way, anybody says the Federation's not a military force, you're lost in the sauce. But focusing your fire is something that's done all the time. Whether or not it's a critical system, that's up to the person who's in charge and the person making the call. That's all that is. And that I know for the sake of the movie, he turned and went, trust me, in that just funky voice he has. I swear to God, that guy would make millions just on voiceovers. In any case, it's once the command, especially if you got a battle group commander or a fleet commander, they say attack this ship in this spot, hit them now. Everybody focus on that spot. You don't question it. There's no, are you sure? No, it's just do it. In the service, it's not, if they tell you to jump, you don't say how high. You just jump as high as you can and hope it's high enough. That's how that works. So, but yeah, Dustin, that's common practice for anybody. Now, if you play MechWarrior Online, I haven't in a while. I really want to get back on it, but I just do not have the time to spend hours playing. I would love to again. Yes, I do pilot a Jaeger, but you would hear that all the time. Primary target, Delta at grid such and such, or target the Atlas, primary target. Everyone focus fire on this. It's the same thing. So it's exact same contact. Okay. Whoa, my shit just jumped. Okay. See, Kale says, what does count energy weapon though besides laser? Okay. Direct fire energy weapons are very, very broad. And I mean very broad. Okay. The actual, what's known to us as direct fire energy will actually disrupt the tectonic plates on a planet. It can also be used if you want to mine asteroids or mine an actual mine. It's actually something that can be used. It's not something we use widely. As far as I know, there's only one on this planet, and it's supposedly top secret, but we're in the age of information. Shit gets out. So there's that. There's just in the same story, all the cyber warfare, that data pulse that overloads a system, that can be considered an energy weapon. Anything that is based on actual power, without using a physical projectile as its primary. Now, the only reason a particle laser does not is because that is an energy focused beam of particles. You realize that's energy focused beam. So that's why that doesn't count. But if I was, say, a coil gun, the coil is still maybe run by energy, but it's still a projectile weapon. So, yeah, as far as energy weapons go, that's very broad, and they get very, very, shall we say, funky. They get very interesting. Energy weapons, even something as I'm trying to remember, no, it's not neuron or neurosis. I'm trying to remember. It's something you can actually fire. All the electronics will be fine. Everybody's internal electrical system shorts out. It's kind of a weird way, and for the life of me, I don't remember. They were working on that back in like the 80s, and I don't know if it went anywhere. I haven't heard anything about it since. I wouldn't be surprised they perfected it by now. But that's an energy weapon, even though it's fired like artillery. It's kind of weird. Okay, Dustin says, warp and jump and impulse engines cause a lot of heat and radiation, which leads to it needs to be dealt with or dissipated. Absolutely. That's the actual main reason why you cannot use, in most science fiction, jump engines consecutively, because they will overheat and explode. They will literally go critical and go kablooey. And the last thing you need, especially if your engine's in the stern, is your ass to explode. Nobody likes it when your ass explodes when you're not ready for it. So, yeah. Let's see. Jump in here. Dustin also says, it's a damn freaking shame the snakes are too damn stubborn. This is why I constantly use that line from Babylon 5, arrogance and stupidity in one complete package. Yeah. You got to remember, these guys haven't been challenged in you have no idea how many centuries. It's just the way it is. And they'll think, oh, we haven't been challenged, and no one's ever going to challenge us. Everyone's just going to bend to our will. Yeah, no. Sorry, cuz it don't work that way. Let's see. Fabian. So the Dark Abyss does have a bottom. Well, that depends on which abyss. I was talking about dropping down a well. I guess I should have phrased that better. But yeah, eventually everything's got a bottom. Hell, there's supposed to be a bottom in hell. So here we go. Caleb says, oh, to kill is particle beams or pulse, plasma, microwave, and exotic energy. Yep. Thank you, Caleb. Thank you for that. I honestly, off the top of my head, I just couldn't remember half of them. But yes, absolutely. Microwave will actually cook you. Now, I am questioning if plasma is actually viable. The only reason I mention plasma or mention any plasma is because a flamethrower is officially, if you break it down, plasma that's burning. it's kind of just so. Technically, a flamethrower is an energy weapon. Technically, it really depends on how you want to define it. All right, Dustin D. Star Trek start with only the first pilot. Cage 57 years later. I'm pretty sure that was supposed to say Trek, but Teak is still going. Even a lot of missteps between 2004 and 2024. Yeah, they didn't just miss a few steps. They tripped and fell face first into a pile of dog shit. Now, can Trek be saved? Everybody I talk to, anybody I hear for the past couple of years has all said the same thing. Yes, it can be saved. It's not Doctor Who. Doctor Who is already done. They've destroyed that one. They've given it a noogie, a wedgie, and shot it right in the face at the same time. But Trek can be fixed. And honestly, like Lower Decks, I could fix Lower Decks. It's not hard to do. It is absolutely one of the easiest things possible. All you have to do is show the supposed hero as the villain that she actually is. I mean, within the first episode, she maims one person, she changes the brain chemistry of someone else, she insults everybody. I'm like, this person is a villain. Show people she's the villain, and you're good. You're done. It's just that simple. But they won't for reasons. I don't know. Let's see. Ernest says, I like your style of storytelling. Hopefully, I'm not too monotone. Let's see. Caleb says, greeting from the Guardian Sage. You're guarding. Oh. Put him up. Okay. Let's see. Dozens D says, when are we going to be getting an animated Earth ships and Combermus? Oh, I'd love to do that. I don't know the first step about doing 3D rendering. I will say this on a side note. I would have gone yesterday to check on the t-shirts. Unfortunately, we were in the middle of a freaking blizzard. So, yeah, that wasn't going to happen. I will say the first chance I get, I'm going down there. I'm checking to make sure he's got them drawn so he can get them done. The only thing I got to figure out is exactly where I want it and how everything's going to be placed. Because, yeah, it's just the way it is. Doing this is like a first test run. And I actually have some other folks I know who are waiting to find a good t-shirt place that's not going to screw them over. Everybody I know personally who's done t-shirts has been screwed over, and I'm hoping that this doesn't happen to me. And if they do a good job, they're going to end up with a lot of business. So, but that would be something else to actually do, the Kalumbra ships, because well, they'd be a lot more bulbous because those snakes are 25, 30 feet long. Let's see. Dustin also says, oh, shit. Sorry. This jumped a lot. Oh, shit. Wow. You guys been busy talking. Where was I? Artificial laser is technically United Earth 500 gigawatt. Great Scott. Phase cannons. Yeah, I can see that. Don't worry. I saw it was particle there, Dustin. You're good. Let's see. Demon says, I think Warp 9 is the highest I can remember. I also haven't watched Trek in a long time. They lost consistency on that. Every single series has their different way of doing it. They're not locked into certain rules, and that's something that's killing their series. Something fierce. Let's see. Kale says, this really a hinged person with a title? Great, high, and leader under the same sense. Thank you, Kale. You figured it out. You got it, man. You win. You got it. That's the whole thing. The guy's a pretentious, crazy, friggin'. He's been a leader so long. He's seen it all. That's why he was so calm. He's like, I've seen this. But still, great, high, grand leader. Yeah. Let's see. Dustin says, how many times can human ship energy weapons can shoot before they need recharging? Do your human ships give energy weapons battery packs? That's a very interesting one. Most everything I work with, if I talk the energy, is on 0 point energy, and 0 point energy, you give me one half the size of a microwave, I can run this house indefinitely. So you have one the size of this house, and you can run a starship pretty much indefinitely. It pumps out that much juice. It doesn't even have to be on a planet to operate. Now, if you have them lined up depending on how you want it, either in series or in sequence, will give you either more power or will faster charge you. But yeah, the energy weapons, as far as the energy weapons having to recharge, a lot of that isn't recharging. They're paused to cool. That way, again, you don't overload any type of capacitors or anything else you've got in there, and it starts to merge together. Because once it does, and you start basically making a giant circuit with that much juice, something's going to fry and someone's going to die as it explodes. But yeah, the energy weapons, depending on how you set up your ships, as far as mine, they usually fire for about 4 or 5 seconds if they want to fire, and then they have to cool, which is why when I did flying bricks, they're 30 light seconds out from the enemy, and they're actually firing and moving the cannon. So it actually, if you looked at it from the top, it actually looks like it's bending as it's taking a few seconds to actually get there. But since you're actually bending the bottom, it seems like it's going across. It's really perception at that distance as far as how the light beams bend. But yet for me, it's only a few seconds because, again, you have to be very careful. Those systems, any energy weapon system is going to be very, very, very touchy because there's going to be a lot of things going on there, which is why, again, ballistic weapons, even though you're limited on ammo, they can be your best bet. I would not use any type of battery packs because if you're draining a battery pack that quickly, you're not going to have a battery pack. They don't recharge that fast. You will cook them. Let's see. Fabian says, story idea. Taking an alien out, mountain walking, survival up the peak in deep snow for a week. Okay, sir. Another survival one? I can do that. Alien survival mountain. With human, of course. That's for a week long. And yeah, I kind of did a couple of those. I just hope for their sake they don't go up Brokeback Mountain. That would suck. I can't believe I just said that. Guys, I'm sorry for that one. That one just slipped out. I can't say anything now, god damn it. Okay, on to the next one. James to Kirk, I'm sure that's supposed to be James T. Kirk, was getting into a fight just about every 2 to 3 episodes at most. Yeah. When you're facing different species, unless those species are made out of foam rubber, you're going to break something when you hit it, especially if you're dealing with an insectoid species, because that thick carapace is not going to give. So anybody's actually writing stories on with different species there, you really got to be careful on that. Which is actually why in ambush predators, the humans weren't afraid of the lizard folks because they knew the lizard guys have very, very thin bones. And even though they might be bigger and they can swat down on you, that enough force, if you punch back up, would have just snapped the arm clean. So, let's see. Demon says, man, that night was miserable. Rained until 04:30 and bam, blizzard snow. Working outside sucks sometimes. Yeah, dude, I was former infantry. You don't have to tell me how much that sucks. Had to get my new driver's license card that day, so I now look like a wet rack in my new Well, you do what Peter Griffin did, show up drunk, and then when they pull you over, you look like you're sober. That was, yeah, just hopefully the live stream and the stories, raise your day a little bit there, Demon. See, Dustin says, there's a Starfleet Nadian phaser ball turrets and phaser array and phaser cannons. Yeah, they're all, they actually phaser, not laser, which means they're particle. They're not actually heat or light based. Let's see. Even Starfleet deflector can be turned into a makeshift one a few shots before burning out. Yeah, that's kind of somebody sent me that clip and I just went, no. Anything that's designed to be a shield will only, in that situation, will only function as a shield. If it pulses, it's basically like sending a thicker shield that will pulse out, but then eventually break away. Which would work if you know what's coming in. The only thing that drives me crazy about the shields on that is people got to realize that energy shields will only block energy. The reason they say it blocks everything is because they had to do that for the show. They couldn't just sit there and damage all their props. It just didn't work that way. Just like if any of you seen the interview with the guys from Stargate, the show, and they were talking about the three zaps from the energy weapon that elevates and looks like a dude's member, which is they still laugh at that, and they're like, "Oh, what is it? See all these bodies? What do you do?" And apparently, the director goes, with this thing, one hurts, two kills, and three makes him disappear." Is literally something he pulled out of his butt, and I'm just like, I know. Yeah, it's just, yeah. Neutron pulse cannon, just neutrons? That's pretty negative, huh? Ava, oh, Ava's here. You're awake. What is the heat? Oh, dispensation rate of the Columbia snake ships versus the human ships. I haven't got into that yet. I will say this: if you remember when they were actually in their slug match, they did have one where they went muzzle to muzzle, and the Columbus did not fire their main weapons yet. That should tell you something. I'll get more into that in tomorrow's episode. That's really going to be a big one. So, or not the one dropping midnight so much, but the next one after that will definitely be a lot more explanation. Leonid, I remember old video game with spaceships that run on lasers and heat sinks. They look like cylinders. I'm not sure what video game that is. Maybe somebody in the chat can tell you, but I'm completely lost on that one. Let's see. Dustin says, if the snake Columbra... Oh, before I go any further, you guys do realize where Columbra came from, right? I don't know if you know this, but that's actually, I looked up different types of Lamia, and that's actually just a different language way of saying it, their way of doing it. The Columbra, if I remember correctly, was South America. If I'm wrong, put it in the comments and I will read it. All right. If the snake's Columbra thinks humans are stubborn, wait till they get your universe version of the Andorians. Now, I don't know much about these Andorians. People bring this up every super chat, and I am lost. I do not have all the time to go. I know where they're from. They're from the Trekkie Trek universe, but I don't have time to go into the Trekkie Trek universe. They've kind of, no. That did take me a couple of days to go into that and know exactly what the hell I'm talking about. Let's see. The four types of Ava says 4 types of FTL engines are a Kuiper based, fold engine, which is one I usually use, the wormhole engine, which is, I don't even know, and lastly, the skip drive engine, which is more or less a fold system. They're not the same, they're just similar. Oddly enough, you could say the fold engine and the wormhole engine are pretty close too, so I should shut up on that one. They're not the same. They're definitely not the same. If you're talking fold system, for those who don't know, that is quite literally you're using quantum physics to fold 2 separate points of space together. You pass through, or you merge the two, and then when it comes back out, you're on this side now. That's the fold system. The wormhole is pretty much just, again, joining 2 points in space, but you're drastically shortening things by making a quantum, not vortex, god damn it. Ava, you're making my brain hurt here as I'm trying to explain these. And skip drives is what we supposedly already have for our own aircraft when you see the dots skipping across the sky. But apparently the pilot can't feel shit. Let's see. Dustin D says Star Wars can also be fixed. It can, but holy crap. If I was in charge, could I fix it? Absolutely, I could fix it. I'd bring it back to where it was, And every time I see one of these self-righteous morons walk in the room, I just be like, you out. Just out. What'd you say? Put a chicken in it? What were you saying again? I didn't quite hear you. Anyways, yeah, could it be fixed? Sure. Will it? I doubt it. It's actually very easy to fix, by the way. All they got to do is go back to their original standard. And let's see. Demon says, Ava, I'm the one who oversleeps, not you. Why? Kale, but I just woke up. Okay. You guys are funny. Destiny Becker Minar Freeman is basically section 31 and all but name. I'm not sure. Is that a Trek thing? I'm not sure what's going on with that. Whoa, okay. This thing jumped again. When we get to where it was. Oh, god dang. This thing, wow, this thing jumped a lot. Give me a second, folks. Ava said, oh, shit. Ava, I hope you're okay if you're on, some sort of medication. I'd hate to see you, be hurting for no reason. Let's see. Fabian says, Sideman, 9.95, top warp speed, Voyager's top speed. Honestly, I don't know how you have a top speed in space. I still am having trouble. That's got to be a series thing. Let's see. What if Ensign Saito at some time in Star Trek history turns up being section 2? And see, you guys are talking Trek, and I'm lost. So, see, I'm going to skip the Voyager stuff. Let's see. Ava says, plasma weapons notes the first type of pure plasma weapon truly act like a shotgun. Loading buckshot. Oh, me likey some buckshot. And the second type of plasma jacket using plasma to enhance firing and destructive power round. Actually, yes, plasma-induced. Plasma-induced, I'm not sure if they say coating anymore or confinement. But yes, you can actually use it to focus the beam much more. And I'm not truly into that. Now, I know some of my laser stuff, but as far as explaining it beyond that, I'd be a little lost. Could you actually induce the beam itself with plasma? Sure, if it's a particle beam of some sort. Let's see. Ava also says, plasma uses magnetic containment either from the shape of the plasma itself or the round of the plasma is jacking. I could see that. Oh. Let's see. Demon, battery packs could be used as backup power, but I wouldn't use them as primary source. That's absolutely true. You always need a backup, but you also need a backup to your backup because you never know when those are going to fail. Just like the case in point, you have your lights, which is your normal. Your backup is a flashlight. Well, what happens if the batteries go dead? Well, you have a backup to the backups called candles. So there you go. You are 100% right on that one, Demon. Let's see. Dustin says, Voyager was limited to 38 Class 6, yada, yada, yada. Photonic torpedoes and 2 tri-cobalt, but what the? In 7 years, they shot 144 and they only had 38 of them? Right. That's like the people in the action movies that never have to reload. Let's see. Ava says, add on to Fabian's story idea. Easter egg character, the albino running around with a grenade launcher shows up randomly. Huh? You got me on that one. Maybe I don't remember if that was in one of my stories or not. Wow. Albino, the grenade launcher. Okay. Why not? Let's see. Fabian says, that was funny. Got me laughing. You're going to use that line in the story. Okay. I don't remember which line. Anyways, let's see. Dustin D, how many times did the USS Enterprise NCC 1701 not bloody, but had actual shot enemies of the week. Yeah. Anybody says that they're not a military force, do a body count. Just simply do a body count, even if it's a rough estimate on each series. How many beings, people, planets do they blow up or let die? I mean, it's just it's staggering. And don't say the deep space with the war, because that was such a Babylon 5 ripoff. I don't even want to talk about it. Let's see. Dustin says Starfleet shield is technically graviton shields. Now, I'm not. It's the only thing I know about graviton technology is very limited, so I can't really say too much on that one. As far as I know, but the little bit I do know is that that's for projectiles. That's not for energy. If you have a shield that's meant to stop physical attacks, the chance of it even slowing down energy is almost nothing, and vice versa. So you might, since I don't know much about the gravitron shields, I'm going to leave it alone. Let's see. Kale, need to be careful with winter mountain survival story, though. A lot of species can't handle the cold as we do, such as bugs, reptiles, or most felines won't handle cold. That is 100% true, which is why, again, in the story where they found the human ship on the ice planet and they went down to see what was what, they're reptilian. So they had to be in full body suits. And yeah, all the humans did was live like the Inuits, and they were fine. But yes, you are correct. It'd have to be probably another mammalian species. One that, big shaggy hair, so it has the icicles hanging down like a couple of freaking shaggy dreadlocks or something. That'd be funny. Let's see. Dustin D says, based on HFY story, 11 of the human ships seems to fire 2 or 3 shots on HYV. Is it HFY or seem to fire 2 or 3 shots for every one? Oh, okay. Now I know which one you're talking about. Had I have known, or had we known? Yep. 11 human ships fired 2-3 shots for every one the snakes fired. That is true. That is very true. You actually find that, and I will say this because it was said in the video, the torpedoes that the snakes were using were basically, if you look the difference between, in the beginning of World War II, the difference between the Japanese torpedoes and the American torpedoes, and the Japanese torpedoes beat the American torpedoes hands down in every single possible aspect. They were faster, they hit harder, they were much more accurate, and they actually detonated when they were supposed to. It's crazy, the difference. So that was kind of the point. That was actually how I put that in there. You guys know how much I love the reference history. Now we got another one from Rage. I always like the Stargate staff weapons. I'm sure you do. They just need to be sharp on the other end. Yeah, that'll be, yeah. I'll tell you what, the choice between a staff weapon and a snub-nose P90, I'd throw them both in the trash, and I'd go get myself my saw back or something, because honestly, I've used a snub-nose P90. At about 50 meters, you can't hit shit. What they showed on there, oh, here's the demonstration. Let's shoot this cable at 100 meters. Yeah, not with that thing. At close quarters, it's devastating. But no, at range, it's absolutely shit. Think of that really bad remake of Red Dawn, where the guy's like, oh, these look pretty badass. And guys, not if you know anything. I tell you, things can look cooler than hell, and they absolutely suck. But yeah, the staff weapons would work because apparently they don't lose any of their power at range, which is nice. Plus, they explode when they hit you, causing massive thermal damage. So yeah, that would work. Why does this thing keep jumping? I don't know why this thing keeps jumping on me, but it does. Ava says, I got some stuff for the Discord syntax. I've been working on a space stealth ship. That's a lot of S's. Yeah, it's like I'm a Columbro with all the S. With a nasty setup, I can get within, 75,000 kilometers of any ship, activate device or passive, no detection. Okay. Stealth ships, if used correctly, can be horrifying. Absolutely horrifying. And why is that? Because when you're inside any spaceship, you're not looking out the window. I give props to one of the other folks who, somebody wrote the story on Reddit and it was read on another channel. And everyone's like, well, we're going to start everything, this war game. And they're like, but we can't. We can see your ship. How? Look out the window. It's painted orange. That's the OC right there, the observer controller. What's going on? So they're like, oh, oops. It's like, But stealth ships, the kicker with that is just like a sniper, when you fire, you have to just immediately cloak and go. You have to find a way to not be detected as you move, because as soon as you fire, as soon as you decloak, you're the target to take out. And most stealth craft are designed to be light and cannot take a hit. I say most, not all of them. Fabian says, I actually got the Snake People reference. Yeah. Let's see. Leonid, the game I was talking about was the Children of Dead Earth. It's supposed to be based on realism. I have not played it, so I cannot say anything on that. I'm not going to. Nope. Let's see. Dustin D says, what about the Babylon jump gates? A portable jump engines on Earth Force Omega class. Portable, huh? Well, as far as that goes, that was a universe-specific type of FTL working in their version of what they believe is their idea of subspace. They also have like two other ones. There's one called Third Space, and I forget what the other one. They only mentioned it once in one of the movies. It's 3 times faster than a standard jump engine. What they're doing actually with that is they kind of took a page out of 40K. They're not actually going through our universe. They're going through a universe that is next to ours, which has some weird physics that makes travel much faster, whether it's more condensed or whatever it might be. It's almost as though our universe is wrapped around theirs, so that instead of going from point A to point B, you're going from point A to point B, which the shortest distance is, straight line. But yeah, that's not actually an FTL engine by what we would consider those standards. They're actually, again, jumping into other dimensions and using that as a medium to travel faster. That's pretty much it. Let's see, War Sniper. Damn, then I was really close. I was thinking that the snakes were Lamias. That's what they're shaped like. The only difference is the male snakes don't have hair. And if they do, it's like really coarse and really light, or sparse, I should say. But they do, like, most of their upper body looks like us. Their arms are a little longer, but they do look like that. You got to remember, be careful when you guys talk about the Lamias and the different type of, like, I think they call them dragonoids or whatever. It's like 4 different types of half human, half snake. And if you got to make sure you get the names right. Everyone knows what Lamia is. That's why I used it. I could have used the ones that have wings too, but I chose specifically not to, because honestly, a flying snake is, well, horrifyingly scary. I mean, geez, yikes. But yeah, that's one of the reasons why the young lady and the general have genetic codes that are close enough where things can actually happen. Like I said before, that whole episode with them talking about that, It was specifically to let you know there's massive differences between the species, even though they look similar. Is conception even able to be attempted? And even if it is conception even possible? Or if it's even possible, can it even be attempted? There's multitudes of factors there. Okay. Ava says skip drive basically makes a bubble, leave reality, and enter where you want to go near instantly using the same amount of energy regardless of distance. Yes and no. If you're going by what's out there now, what's we can get our hands on, the amount that you can skip at a time is fixed. You can't go beyond a certain point. However, that doesn't mean you can't go skip really quick, where you would think you're just traveling along when actuality you're going a hell of a lot faster. But yes, does it do the whole bubble around you? Yes, it actually does warp reality in a sense to actually do that. That is 100% correct. Now, if you're going to put that in one of your stories there, Ava, you might want to actually sit back, take a breath, get a drink, and explain how that works, or else you might lose people. I know you like to write, so. Let's see. Dustin D says, only goofy thing I would hire bad robot for is when I want ships to go boom, boom. Okay. Shoot, move, and communicate. Boom, boom. Okay. Sorry. A little fallback to my old job. Let's see. War Sniper. I was only trying to figure out what their biology was. Yeah, it's pretty much that. You were not wrong. You were actually correct. Let's see. Dustin, everything I like in the boom boom effect better than bad. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Leonid, would it be cool for the humans to have a space station with a singularity-based weapon? Ooh, I've done singularity bombs before in a few of my stories. Now, the kicker with singularities is you have to be very, very careful, because if they get out of hand, you know what you get? A black hole, and one strong enough to suck in an entire sector and just smile at you. So you got to be very careful about that. You can also have one that turns into a supernova, which is on the opposite end of that spectrum. And yeah, neither one is anything you want to be close to. When I say close, I mean within an entire sector or two. You want to be as far away from that son of a bitch as possible. Let the Hubble watch that shit from 20, 30 light years out. I wouldn't even want to be that close, honestly. But singularity-based weapons, yes. If you made a singularity bomb, that would be honestly scary, because that would either completely crush you, completely burn you, or completely atomize you, or down to the molecular level. Your molecular bonds would actually break. It's honestly horrifying to think about. Let's see. Fabian says, warp 10 forward. Let's go. You're all points in space-time at the same time. Yeah, I actually tried to write a story on that, and honestly, I would need help. I would need help, because the problem is my brain is going so fast to all the different points. My hand couldn't freaking write fast enough, and at that point I was trying to type, and I can't type very fast. I actually fully understand the concept of time, and my physics professor thought I was like, how did you do that? And he wasn't even my professor. I wasn't even in his class. He's like, you need to be in this class. I'm like, I can't do the math like they can. Yeah, but they don't understand it. Not my fault. All right. Rage says, remove the last 3 Star Wars action movies from canon. Yeah, to fix it, you need a little bit more than that. You need to remove like the last season or 2 of the Mandalorian. The first season was good. After that, it friggin' tail spun in. It's just a dumpster fire. Because a lot of it didn't make sense. One of the things I will say that just didn't make any sense at all is you see the Mandalorian getting blasted constantly, and the rounds are ricocheting off him. And then when his supposed teammates come in to raid this town, they're dropping like flies. yeah, the initial raid when they drop in, they're nasty as hell, but then they're getting picked off left and right. I'm like, no. If it works for one, it has to be consistent with another, especially when the other one has more armor than the first guy. Ugh. So it's like I said, consistency. They got to watch their consistency. Okay. Dustin Z, plasma confinement lock with Romulan confinement plasma beams. Boy, that's a lot of confinement. Ava, still explain my stealth ship Discord. It's a long paper. Oh, I'm sure it is. There's a lot of different ways to do stealth in space. Almost all of them work. Just depends on what you're trying to be stealth from. Because in all honesty, I can be stealth from somebody by painting myself a different color and standing there. I can also cover myself with something else. They both work. They're very similar, but they're not the same. All right, Dustin D, the Earth ship that got one main gun for blown up and still won't fight versus the snakes. The Earth ship that got one main gun for blown up and still won't fight. I'm not sure what you're getting at, Dustin. I don't know. It might be on your device, and that didn't come out right. Oh shit! This thing jumped again. Why does this thing keep jumping? Let's see. Fabian says, "Breakback mountain line." You said, "I'll look back over the vid, send you times." Oh, jeez. That was just one that just came out. Okay. How many times is Wart's son of Mock Starfleet officer wanted to ship at ships of the week at? Okay, I'm not even sure where you're going with that. Let's see. Hey, it's a laughing man. Haha. Hello, I found your channel a week ago, and I'm a huge fan of A New Life in the Stars. You are awesome. No, man. No. You fans are awesome. You guys there. Because you know what? I wouldn't be here doing this if you guys weren't here. Pure and simple. No, you guys are. I'm glad you're enjoying it. It was one of my first longer series, and that thing was. I didn't expect it to. When I first started scripting it out, it was the first time I actually was scripting things out. But I've gotten better at that since then. But in any case, I didn't expect it to be as long until I scripted it out, and I'm like, 31 chapters. Holy flying donkey nuts! Oh man. Let's see. Dustin D says the only reasons that humans could handle totally freezing cold is with winter clothing, not summer clothing, unless you are layered up really heavy in summer clothing. I mean, layer upon layer upon layer. But yes, absolutely. Let's see. Dustin also says, did the snake weapons tech have polluted level? Did the snake weapons tech have? I'm not sure. Oh, plateaued. Sorry. Oh, had they plateaued and stopped delivering some? Yes. I shouldn't have said anything, but that was actually going to be coming up in one of the later episodes. So yeah. See, Dustin says he's better off with an M16. Oh, I can shoot the dick off a fly with an M4 at 350 meters, no problem. I hit the target all the time. Kicker is I had a little trouble when I was standing, but aside from that, let's see. Even ask AK-47 can hit further than the P90. Absolutely. Just as shits and giggles, we had one guy stand out in the 250 meter target, and we had another guy with a live AK-47 aimed at his chest, fired, and the rounds were impacting about 20 meters in front of him. I was like, dude, you're nuts. We get the point, but you're insane. Let's see. Caleb says, interesting idea would be to have two Arctic species, a human, an avian, and reptilian species for the mountain survival story. Okay. Two mammalian. One evil hairless monkey. One avian. One reptilian. Ah, that's doable. Just got to get some backstories for them, and then we're good to go. Let's see. Not a bad suggestion there, Caleb. Let's see. Rage. We do not speak of the Red Dawn remake. Hey, a bad movie can have one or two good lines, and they could be the stupidest things ever, and it's still quotable forever. And I'll make one there, and I'm sure somebody's gonna put this in a freaking meme or something. You're tearing me apart, Lisa. You know that if you know, you know, and that movie is so bad that holy shit. All right. Ultra says, imagine if Space Marines came to the setting war would end in a few days. What do water grunts have to do with this? Now, I know people give me shit about calling the Marines water grunts. They used to call us dirty, nasty legs all the time until I told them I actually jump. And then they're like, oh, you're the dumbasses who jump out of a perfect good airplane, aren't you? Idiots. You know, we give each other crap all the time. But the fact of the matter is the concept of a Marine in space is kind of not there. I did this once. I had this conversation a while back when I did Life of the Stars, A Call from the Stars, A Call to Arms, one of my first long series. And everyone's like, why are you after the Marines? I love the Marines. You can love them all you want. But the fact of the matter is, just like I would not put an Air Force person in the captain's chair for space combat, I would use a submariner because they're trained for that sort of thing. I would not put a Marine in a drop pod. I would have airborne guys do that because that's what they're trained for, to actually drop in the situation. You got to go by what people are good at, what they're trained for, actually follow that. So I know you want to say the 40K Space Marines, they're ultra, but I by the way, I did one 40K story once. It was a complete disaster. Okay, let's see. Dustin says, I find in most fames with the AK-47, it's the best to shoot in burst, not full auto, because all auto AK-47 is hard to handle and misses a lot. That depends on who's handling it. I fired them in Iraq all the time, and I didn't have a problem. Once you get a feel for full auto, it is just devastating in CQB. And you know, they say the burst, but I'm like, I'd rather cut the fucker in half. Anyways, Lena says, what are the stealth ships when everyone can see you on the sensors in space? No, that's the point of this, the stealth ship, just like the SR-71, is you're trying to either make it impossible for the sensors to pick you up or make it so nothing refracts, nothing bounces, nothing bends, so that they can't see you. That's the whole thing, is to actually see you or not see you on the sensors. Because honestly, a stealth ship in space, since everyone's inside, could be painted bright white with neon flashing lights and no one gives a shit. If they can't pick you up on sensors, you could come up and knock on the window or on the hull and just be like, hey, we're here. Kale says, spooky, sneaky snakes slowly slithering, you son of a... I can't keep doing that. That hurts. Okay, Dustin. What would Star Trek be like if Jeffrey Hunter would have stayed work on Trek for many years? I don't know Trek enough to answer that, Dustin. I really have no idea. Let's see. Trying to make me say that one, Ava, the wrong way. It's actually Naga. And Lamias are the main types of Lamias. Human upper body with snake lower bodies. Naga snakes all over are snake all over, but with human characteristics on the upper body. So they're scale top to bottom. No actual hair or anything like that. And they may or may not have well, at least the females may not have dimensions, Dustin D says, what are the snakes going to do when they want to use human spices and pigs, not pegs, dude, but still want to eat human at the same time? Humans will shoot first and ask questions later. Well, remember, okay, this isn't really giving anything away, but those that have done cannibalistic stuff, that they say that human and pork taste extremely similar, which is why perhaps, just maybe, the great high grand leader was so in love with the taste of that pork chop because it tasted like human smothered in barbecue sauce. That should tell you plenty on that. So let's see. They say that in the Army. Yeah, we say a lot of things. Rage says there's also the Wan T from D&D. I have never once played D&D. Not once. I know it may seem like I have because of some of the stories I've created, but I've had to do a lot of research to actually go through those because I wasn't a big player. And I will say the few people that I know who did play D&D, a lot of times got things wrong. Like really, really wrong. Because those are preset characters you got to watch on that. Oh, okay. This thing's jumping again. Why is this thing jumping so much? Let's see. Wow. Okay. This thing literally jumped all the way to the bottom. Give me a second to line this back up. Let's see. Ava says black holes can be contained via reticulously strong Mannix or strong warp engine like a Alcubierre. And yeah. Oh, you can use it as a power source. Yes. My worry is using it as a weapon, because if you release an unstable singularity, you're beyond screwed. But yes, if you keep the black hole down to about the size of 0.5 millimeter, you can actually use the power that comes off of that thing. But you have to contain it, and it takes a lot to contain it. Actually, so much that's one of the things that Trekkie Trek got right, is the fact that they're putting off such an energy signature on the Romulan ships, because that's what they use, that their stealth means absolutely jack. Everybody knows they're there. The sensor can't pinpoint it, but they know there's a warbird somewhere. And if you're at war with them, you're literally just going to start shooting in all directions, and you're going to hit them somehow. And if they're cloaked, don't have the shields on, and never underestimate first hit. So yeah. Okay. Dustin D says, will the humans develop energy weapons like Star Trek DS9 and Voyager? Are you talking in reality? You talking about in the story? As far as here on Earth, we've already developed energy weapons. They're just not in wide use because we haven't had to use them. There's a major shift in weapons, by the way. If you haven't seen it, it's going from armor to drones. Especially first-person view drones are absolutely devastating the crap out of armor units. It's not even funny. It's a guy that's been on the ground. It's scary. It's honestly scary. I wouldn't want to be on the ground with those things buzzing around. Let's see, doesn't he says Star Wars 8 need to be stripped from canon, and Londo need to be straight, cocky, smart male, but idiot gambler. Yeah, like he was in the original. Somebody who just kind of is like, it's my vice. I'll lose some money. I don't care. I'll have fun. But still, I'm still the baddest. All that. That works. Fabian says, doing good in viewer count this week. Yes, absolutely. And, a couple of likes wouldn't hurt if you can. Now, it's kind of up there. Let's see. Demon says, Battlestar Galactica FTL jump drives, as far as I know, are the fastest human-made FTL, with ranges varying between 10 light years and 450 light years, depending on drive, and instantly travel that distance. But they have their flaws as well, needing to cool off and causing stress to the hulls of the ships. Cool concept, though. Yeah, when you're talking distances that far, you're more than just talking a jump drive. You're talking actual time travel at that point, because time travel teleportation, i.e. instant travel, is so similar that they actually cross over a little bit like a Venn diagram. It's kind of freaky how much they actually do. They just really, really do cross over a lot, especially at 450 light years. That's pretty far. Let's see. Okay, can I scroll without this thing jumping? I'm trying to scroll without this thing jumping. Give me a second. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Dustin D, the Earthship won the fight versus the Snakes, even with the blown off main gun number 4. Oh no, the human ship didn't lose a gun. The Kaluber ship lost a gun. That's why when they jumped, it weakened the hull, and when they jumped, it flexed the hull. So that's why they had to decommission the ship. Maybe I didn't say it right, but yeah, it was the Snakes that lost their main gun and vented a bunch of their crew. Let's see. Lena says Battlestar Galactica and Stargate spaceships had the best flight pods for their fighters. Star Wars carriers are weird. Well, if you want to use carriers, yeah, carriers are niche, and if you keep listening to the story coming out, you're gonna find out why. Ava, Naga was the other name I was thinking. Thanks for my brain wasn't working. Yeah. Hey, I had a day this week. I want to do something for you guys, and nothing inside the brain pan was working. All the soft, squishy bits had locked up, like it just seized. Let's see. Demon says Star Wars doesn't have a true carrier. Actually, they do, but it looks and they use it ridiculousness. It's just I only know it because I like watching Space Doc, and I was just like, this is dumb. It doesn't have a carrier capacity of dog shit. At least the Empire didn't. Later on, they actually had a true carrier. And during the Clone Wars TV show, which was actually good, that was a true carrier, and that had a big carrying capacity. That thing was a true carrier. They called it a destroyer. It wasn't. It wasn't a destroyer. It wasn't a battleship. It was a carrier. Let's see. Got a few. Looked them up. Okay. Dustin D says, back in the Vietnam War, how many American soldiers ending up using AK-47s because the early M16 technical problems like getting clogged in mud and need to be torn down and cleared every 2 to 3 hours? Yeah. Well, my dad was in Vietnam, so yeah, he told us about that one. But even the M4 has a similar issue because they refuse to use a piston system. They still insist on a gas operating system, which honestly I think is bullshit. It's just, it's irritating. I know it works. And by the way, the AK-47 uses a piston drive system instead of a gas-powered system. The only difference between the two is instead of the tube going all the way to the front of the barrel to actually catch the air from behind the bullet to go back and push the bolt and bolt assembly back. Instead of having that long tube, it's just a short little gap, so it doesn't actually lose any pressure going back. And then you just have a piston there, and the piston goes all the way back to the bolt and ka-joink, 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 and actually launches everything. And that's why it's so strong. Well, that and the AK's got a little bit more ass to it, but whatever. See, David says, AK-47, you mean the jamming and missing machine and blows hole in concrete? Yeah, at short range it does, yeah. And the ammo is shorter than the M16 ammo in Vietnam. It is. That's really something you guys gotta decide on your own. And why is this thing jumping on me? I swear to God. Let's see. Ava says, when I was younger, I used to be able to pick up and walk around and carry an M2 with its tripod like the Terminator. Seriously? You carried a Ma Deuce by yourself. No wonder your back hurts. I hated doing that. I'd take it off the tripod and carry it around, and holy shit, that hurts. That shit's heavy. You know how many people it takes for one crew to manually, if you want to carry an M250 cal, you need a minimum of 6 people. That is a minimum for a 50 caliber crew. One for the tripod, one for both barrels, one for the receiver, and the other 3 are strictly for ammunition. Also known as the ammo bearer. AB, also known as your ammo bitch. So, let's see. Kale says, I think you could make drop troops as airborne, but the landing troop that makes the beachhead as Marine and Army comes last with the big guns. Yeah, it really depends on how your invasion goes on that one. It really, really does. It really does. Now, if I'm landing shuttles, Corvettes, I'm landing more than personnel. I'm bringing equipment down, usually some sort of armor. Now, if they don't have something like some sort of seeking missile to take them out, then they're going to be absolutely devastating once they get on the ground. But yes, what your thought process does make sense. Mostly, the kicker is that beachhead. What you're talking about with the Marines, I've actually been trained on that. I got a chance to train on an actual Higgins boat. I'll tell you, you can't see over the side of that son of a bitch. And when that front door drops, it's no slow roll. That thing just falls, and you're just like, okay, and you just hear the blanks going off. And next thing you know, your Miles gear, which is basically laser tag, is just buzzing in your ear, and you realize that everybody in your boat just got smoked. You're like, great, okay, roll it back up. It takes a while to get that thing up. Roll it back up. Let's go back and do it again. And basically Omaha Beach style. And there's no giving those boats if there's any waves. It literally just tosses you around, and then it laughs at you. Okay. Rage says, SR-71, only evasive maneuver, go faster. Yeah. And well, they actually just adjust about a degree, and they're off. They're off to see the wizard. Okay. Let's see. Will Patchwork ship captain have a respective revival like Hannibal of Carthage? Is he coming back? Well, since you asked, is he dead? No? Then he's coming back. You really think I was going to let one of the eager beavers go? I don't think so. Let's see. Dustin D says, what happened to the Patchwork ship crew? Did they get a new ship yet? Or is it still... Okay. It's coming out in the next couple episodes, guys. As far as that crew, it will be fully explained. I don't want to ruin the story for you guys. I just want to let it go. As far as the Patchwork ship itself is fucked. It's the actual ship is done. Now, I can say this. When they started asking about a new ship, remember the young captain was like, I want my men to design it. They know what they're doing. Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. So yeah. Let's see. Fabian says, unfortunately, people, I've got to go to bed. Oh yeah, wake up in 5 hours. Yeah, that sounds like my night last night, Fabian, because I had insomnia, something fierce. Whoa. Let's see. Lenin says, black hole bomb theoretically possible if you use reflective mirrors that reflect particles. Yeah, I still don't trust it to actually dissipate. That's what you need. Unless you're planning on totally letting that entire sector get eaten. Yep. Night, Fabian. See you. Let's see. Flying Snake screams. What the heck is a Gepards? I don't know what a Gepards is. Bring the Gepards. You lost me, Wargamer. Let's see. It says, here's an FTL engine. My Juju calls it the Nom Nom drive. What? It pulls space into the drive and spits it out the ass, and different from okay. Well, see that works. It supposedly works just like a turbine. The problem is the ether in space is too thin. War Sniper says he's got to go to sleep. He's got work tomorrow. Good night, War Sniper. Jen says, you skipped me. The story of Navy SEALs team. Or hey, no, that would be a SEAL team working in SEAL teams, since they do focus a lot on things like taking out oil rigs and stuff like that, would do great for taking out stations and actually boarding ships. The only problem with boarding ships in space is the last thing someone's going to do if they realize the ship's going to be taken. Hey, self-destruct system. Click. And then you lose your whole boarding party. The best you got as far as taking over vessels is what they were doing is cut the power so the engines don't work and the self-destruct system doesn't activate, and then you just wait for everybody to keel over and then you take the ship. Let's see, Fabian, thanks all. I'll catch you up next week. Good night. Night, Fabian. First thing in the morning, I'll wake and listen to the first thing with my morning coffee. Hopefully you're not the one who spit out his coffee first thing in the morning, Fabian. I know it was you. Yeah, piston system does work extremely well. I don't know why it's not used more often. Yeah. I'm not even going to read that one, Kale. Ava's going to kill me if I read that. Let's see. Demon says 6 foot tall. We were just talking about last night. She needs to. Okay. Yeah. Hey, some folks are built that large. My niece might be that tall. She's like 18 inches taller than everybody else in her class, and she's only like 9 years old. I mean, she's like 5'2" already. I mean, she's 11, not 9. Her sister's 9. So, let's see. Dustin said, did the Patchwork crew manage to capture any humans to interrogate? No, they did not. They had enough time to evacuate the flagship of their battle group and get the fuck out of there. That's what they needed to do. Let's see. Demon says, got to leave for work for 30 minutes myself, unfortunately, so I'll be away from the keyboard a few minutes and get ready for work. We might not be here after a couple of minutes. I see the numbers start to slip down, and I'm going to just go through these. If they're still coming in, I'm going to read them. It says, Syntax, a half. Whoa. Sorry, this thing is jumping all over the damn place. Syntax, a 0.5 millimeter size black hole. Are you crazy? That thing has more energy than a star. Well, it depends on the size ship you're trying to work. I think I just misquoted on that. Not millimeters. I'm sorry. I'm trying to remember exactly the size. My brain's starting to hurt. Let's see. Ultra says, it would be interesting if a religious aspect came into play, like the United Theocratic Front on Religions of the Holy Order, like the Crusader Knights. All right. For this story, it may or may not fit. But yes, I've dealt with that one before, and a lot of them, the theocratic portion is usually kept under wraps. But oh shit. Let's see, Dustin. How much will the Patchwork 2 be upsized and up the number of weapons and computer security, EMP protection, and antivirus? Well, they've already figured out the computer protection part. But as far as the rest, you're going to have to wait and find out. Reason being, I don't want to, I hate it when people ruin a story for me. I'm not going to ruin it for you guys. All right. War Sniper. Gepard is a AA German anti-aircraft tank that has a Leopard chassis and is now being used against drones in Ukraine. Yeah, actually, I've seen that. The thing is, a lot of those drones are so damn small, it's having a hell of a lot of time targeting. Now, the big octo prop drones, oh yeah, I can lock on those things, and it turns them into very, very tiny bits of past tense. A lot of those, they like to use those because they can get right above their target and drop. But now they're finding out that those can be found real easy. The first-person view drones can almost exclusively be flown in without any issue at all. It's just they have to go around and search. And, of course, they have a limited battery life themselves. So, but they're absolutely devastating. Seriously, the War Sniper, you might want to look those. They're yush. Okay, Kobe says, Keep up the great work. I will, because you told me to. Doesn't he? How thick is the hull and armor of the patchwork ship we'll have? I'm gonna go over that later. I'm not gonna ruin it, man. You tag me in a picture. Unfortunately, when this is over and I'm kind of running over time, I actually got to check in on my pops. Ava says religion, politics, economics, and women, the main causes of war. Yeah, definitely women. Definitely women. If you don't believe that one, think Helen of Troy. A lot of time, religion and politics was trying to get a hold of more women. But yeah, definitely on that one. Nothing against the ladies there, Ava. It's just us men can be led around by something. That same something that if we took a handful of iron pills and a handful of Viagra, we'd automatically turn north. I'm sure you get it. Yeah, we can be dumb on that one. So, I started watching your channel only a week. My only regret is not finding it sooner. It's more like a realistic Warhammer 40K. Which story? Ultra. Because there's a lot of different ones on that. But I'm sure most of them you're going to see the similarities because HFY, humanity, fuck yeah, is on that one. I'm going to have to stop putting that on those, but on the titles. Okay, Technoman says, has anyone seen drone racing? Yes. Holy crap, those things are quick. I mean, scary fast. And these guys are really good pilots. Damadi says, why if the government is forcing everyone to go hard into battery tech when batteries are not able to keep up with the power of tech, i.e. car battery? Oh, that one's easy. Money. Pure money. And I'll give you a perfect example. We were supposed to, instead of having the lithium ion battery, we were supposed to have the sodium ion battery. Sodium ion, except for a couple little pieces of cobalt, everything there, every part of it is easy to get a hold of. It's very cheap. It is so easy to charge. It's faster to charge. It holds a better charge. It lasts a lot longer. But we don't do that because certain people have paid a lot of money for those lithium mines, and they require to get a certain amount of money back because they paid a certain amount of money to all these politicians to make sure they got all this until they get a certain amount of money back. But guess what? Once they get that money back, it's not enough. They got to get more. We are being restricted on our technology because of money. And that's it. You give me one of these actually like two centripetal generators on the back end of a Tesla, that thing only needs like 10% of the current batteries it has, because it'll be producing energy as it's moving, producing the same amount of energy it needs to go down the freaking road. Sorry, I get agitated on this because I hate being set up for failure, and that's exactly what they're doing. Oh man. And whenever you actually look into a lot of the tech that the real inventors are trying to come out with, they're immediately getting stopped. A lot of the stuff that Nikolai Tesla should have actually been brought to the forefront was buried. I mean, hell, I recently found out, and this was completely lost on me, that something as simple as a flushing toilet was held because some rich bitch thought I don't want the world to have this because I hate the inventor, but I want one. Screw you, lady. It's the same thing as sending us into the Prohibition era because people were creating their own ethanol and not buying fuel, which they were getting fuel taxes from. It's all money. Oh, I digress. Okay. I could sit here and go full on rage mode, freaking knife hand motherfuckers on this, but just don't start no war. Okay. No, Dustin, the batteries that they're currently using are not so good in cold weather. I know plenty of batteries that work fine in cold weather. Let's see. What happened to lithium mines run out of lithium? Then things will change. But the thing is, you can find lithium just about anywhere. The whole idea of a rare earth mineral is just you don't find it in veins. You find it in it's denser in certain areas than others, but it's pretty much everywhere. And that's it. That's the only reason it's called rare earth, because you don't catch it in veins. That's it. Okay. Sorry, I don't mean to get angry, but maybe that's what you're here for. See me freak out. Is there a reason you made the High Grand Leader a huge asshole from the latest episode? That will be explained. That will very much be explained, Ultra. Rage says, don't forget about programmed deficiency. Yes, abso-fucking-lutely. Anyone who don't know, that's when your electronics, like this camera here, is set up to only work for so long before it starts to not work as well, forcing you to buy a new one. Even though there's really nothing wrong. It's just a software update downgrade. Let's see. Cody says, the government has all of Tesla's patents. No, they do. They have well, it's not the government. It's the people that own the government have all that. That's a whole ball of friggin' twine you'd have to unravel. And and I'll tell you what, it makes my brain hurt. It really, really does. Because it all came down to financial backing. Tesla wanted to do what was best for the world. Somebody else wanted to do what was best for their pocketbook. And we got screwed. Can lithium be found in human turds? Actually, it can. But in such small concentration, you might get like 1 molecule of the shit in your shit. I mean, there's so little of it. Ava says, this is why I make my own stuff. Can't take it with I'm not selling it. Hey, just like me, I got the beehives, I got the maple syrup, I got my garden, I got the chickens. I'm good. All right. Speaking of good people, we have reached the bottom of the chats. So I'm going to leave it here for tonight. I actually like I said, I got to call my pops and see what's going on over there. So actually, yeah, you can find more gold in your shit than lithium. That is absolutely true. Anyway, so final safety brief. Remember, it is still winter. Watch out for that black ice, people. It is not fun. Been there, done that, got the t-shirt, almost got killed. I'd rather see everybody here next week. Make sure if you drink, you don't drive. You drive, don't drink. And if your little soldiers goes in the bush, make sure it wears a poncho. Keep your ounce of, what's the phrase? An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cures, or whatever it is. Well, congratulations. The medical industry doesn't give us cures. So prevention, my friends. Last piece of advice. All battles are won in the preparation phase. Never forget it. Good night, everybody. Have a happy Thanksgiving. This is Syntext, punching out.